And welcome back to another video of Coffee and Stocks. Welcome back to the first video ever of how to save money and saving tip for beginners. Don't forget to drop a like on this video as well as press that amazing subscribe button. It does go a long way in supporting the channel, and I love doing these kinds of videos. So drop a like, drop a comment, and at the end of the week I will be doing another giveaway. All right, so as promised, saving tips for beginners. The number one thing that you guys need to know: 41% of Americans can't even handle a $1,000 emergency spend, right? They don't have that much in their bank account. As you can see here, last year around 61% of American households said they would pay for an unexpected $400 expense with cash, savings, or a credit card, right? A lot of people don't have that money saved somewhere in some kind of savings in some kind of areas, which is kind of troublesome, right? If you don't have anywhere where you could just take money out real quick to pay for an emergency, we have a problem, right? And meaning we have a problem because I was one of those people, and then I took it upon myself to just sit my butt down and get that emergency fund, right? So definitely, that's the number one thing that you should have finished right now, right? $1,000 saved in an emergency fund, or if you want to cash it and put it in a safe, if you want to make a savings account, put it there. Don't touch it. This means emergency. It doesn't mean, buying new tires because my old ones are old. It doesn't mean, I forgot my card, but I do have this money, I'll just replace it. You can't do that. If you do that, then it's not gonna be it's not gonna be harder, right, to keep that money there. Which leads me to the next thing that I want to tell you guys: self-discipline is the number one thing you guys should practice. Going to the emergency fund, if you put it there and you leave it and you don't touch it until you have to go to the hospital and you have to get money from somewhere, that's an emergency. So you have to have self-discipline. Self-discipline will most definitely be the key to reducing one's debt, right, and increasing the possibility of growing one's saving. If you are disciplined, self-disciplined in saving money, it's gonna help you so much. That is the number one thing you guys need to do. Self-discipline is huge. Avoiding buying on impulse. That's huge right there. Stop buying on impulse. Just because you saw it on the TV doesn't mean you need it. You don't need it. You got to keep it away. That is impulse. Take your time when buying, especially the expensive items. If you really need it, it will most definitely not slip your mind. Otherwise, if you go along forgetting all about it, then it isn't really worth the money you have to spend it all. The cool thing about it is, say for example, you want a new skateboard, right? And you want it, you go online and then you pick the one that you want. Okay, cool. That's fine and dandy. You can do that. You could window shop. That's fine. But don't buy it quite yet, right? Spend an additional 25 to 30 days, right, not thinking about it. But if it does come back to mind after those 30 days, then you should probably buy it, right? But try hard to avoid impulse buys. That's the number one thing, but you have to be self-disciplined. If you're self-disciplined, everything else comes very, very easy. But the hardest one, which is step number one for me, self-discipline. Number two, that I think it is super important: be debt free. That is the number one thing. A lot of people don't really think about it, and it's using your credit cards, right? Using your credit cards, it's the number one slot of cost of financial drains, and controlling your spending, especially on credit cards, it could definitely give you more freedom and more control of your money. That is the huge put your credit cards away, take them out of your wallet, put them in a safe, put them in somewhere where you're not gonna need them. You don't need credit cards right now. You can't, if you don't know how to use them and you don't know how to control yourself, put the credit cards away. Number 3 that I wanted to tell you guys, record your expenses, right? Keep track of what you spend each month. Say, for example, you only get $1,000 a month, right, as an income, and I'm just spitballing here. You only take $1,000, right? Your income is only $1,000, and you're spending $500 on food. That's 50% of your income a month. You need to reevaluate what you're doing because you do not need to spend that much. You need to write down what your expenses are, what your income is, and what is coming out of that income, right? So different ways you could track your expenses: pencil and paper, that is a hardcore way; envelope, computer spreadsheets, budget apps. There's tons and tons of budget apps, right? Huge way you could fix that. You need to definitely know what's incoming, which is your income, right? And you have to, and the reality is, you have to see what's coming out. All those subscriptions, all, the gas, the food, I just want to go out for a night, what you spend on Apple Play, Apple Music, etc., etc. Write down what you spend compared to what is coming as an income. And there's going to be more videos and more specific videos on each one of these, so don't be stressed. And there's definitely tons of information out there to help you save more money, which leads me to the number 4 thing: write a list before you go shopping. I myself have a lot of problem with this because I go to the store usually without a list, and it hurts because I spend more than I need. One of the easiest ways to save money is to only shop when you have a list, right? And I'm trying it myself, because when you're without one, you typically end up making impulse buys and unplanned purchases, and that costs a lot of money. So creating a list before you go to the grocery store is especially important. Not only can it help you buy items that fit your meal plan, but it can also help you avoid buying food you might waste. Also, create a list, and more importantly, you have to stick with it, because that means less money you are spending. All right, that is the number 1 thing. Number 5, which is the last one I'm going to be talking about today: cancel your subscriptions, right? You don't need Hulu and Netflix and HBO and all those things. Calm down. You might not think that it's not much if you're just thinking about one subscription itself, but if you add them all together, you're spending $70, $80, $90 a month on just subscription. You're not watching all the channels at the same time, so why do you have all the subscriptions at the same time? And you might say, hey, they have my favorite show on there, and they don't have it on this software, on this program. You don't need it. It doesn't just include what's on the computer or what you're watching on TV. It also includes, for instance, do you have a gym membership that you don't use? Do you have a country club membership that you're not using anymore, right? Do you have a plan on your phone that you're not using? Are you paying for too much on your phone? Things like that could save you and cut back on a lot of stuff that you are spending monthly. So there's definitely tons and tons of apps that could help you check on your subscriptions, and maybe the subscriptions that you didn't even know that you had anymore. That's the kind of things that you could cut back, which then lead to saving more money. Right here, just to leave you guys off, so researchers surveyed 2,500 Americans. First asked them to spend 10 seconds thinking generally about what they spend each month on subscriptions. Most people said around $79 a month on average. But when they were really prompted to consider some specific examples of service, including Netflix, Spotify, Birchbox, Dollar Shave Club, GoDaddy, etc., 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 even the PlayStation, it estimated to be $111 on average, which is a 40% increase. That's the type of stuff that you need to think about if you want to save more and more money, because then that will lead you to be financially free from things that you do not have control over, right? If you don't have control over subscriptions, don't need it, get rid of them. First, get your emergency fund ready and set and put it to the side. Then get rid of your debt, obviously not including your house because that's kind of crazy. Focus on that, and I will do a video next week about debt exactly, so definitely stay tuned on that. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, as well as press that amazing subscribe button. Comment down below because that gets you an entry to winning the dividends at the end of the week on Friday, and I will see you guys next time on Coffee and Stocks.